Hello friends, welcome back to our channel. So today we'll discuss about one more concept in our computer networks, that is TCP connection management. So in our previous session we have seen the TCP segment header and also the key features of TCP service model. So let us start the today's topic, TCP connection management. So we have studied that TCP is a connection oriented protocol. So connection oriented. So connection oriented means a connection should be established before the data should be transferred, right? So there are three phases of this connection oriented. So first one is a connection establishment, and the second phase is data transfer. So once the connection was established, then the data will be transferred between the two devices, and afterwards connection release also very important. Connection release. See, coming to this connection establishment, we have studied that this connection establishment is a three-way handshake protocol. So three-way handshake protocol means the client will send the synchronous, that means see, both the devices should be ready, both devices should be ready, and both the devices should share their sequence numbers. So sharing sequence numbers, and then allocation of resources. So in order to complete the task, so some resources may be required, so that allocation will also be done in the same phase. Okay, connection establishment phase. So first devices should be get ready, and then sharing of sequence numbers. So sequence numbers should be shared among those two devices, and once they are shared, it seems the connection is established and they are ready to transfer the data, and also allocation of resources. And coming to the connection release, so we have studied that connection release is a four-way handshake protocol. So client sends the fin to server, and server sends the acknowledgement to client. Okay, so client to server and server to client, and then again server will be sending its finished message to client, and client will be sending acknowledgement to server. So this is a connection release. What happens in this connection release means it will deallocate all the resources. During the connection establishment, we have said that allocation of resources was done, and once the work completed, the connection should be released so that the deallocation of all the resources should be happened. And see, all these three phases, whatever we have studied so far, so connection establishment, data transfer, and connection release, this is called as connection management. This is called as connection management. And during all these phases, the TCP will be moving on to different states. The TCP moves with the different states. So from the beginning, that means from the connection establishment to this one, sending the acknowledgement to release the connection, to finish the connection. Okay, so we'll see what are the different states of TCP. So this process we call it as a connection management. So all these three phases. Now let us see the states. What are the different states the TCP will be moving on from connection establishment to connection release? So the first one, closed state. So closed state means here whenever the system is idle, okay, there is no active connections. That means no active connections. There are no active connections. That implies system is in idle, idle state, idle state. So that we call it as a closed state. Next, the first the next one is a listen state. So already we have seen this listen state in the TCP service primitives. So listen means client, so sorry, server is ready to accept request from client, requests from client. So that stage we call it as a listen state. Next, syn underscore sent. So the next what happens? A client will send the request. Client sends the request of synchronization, right? So then immediately it moves to the client underscore send. So all these are states. Okay, all these are states. Next, syn received. Received. So once the server gets the request from the client, so immediately the server will respond to the client by giving the acknowledgement. So server send the acknowledgement to client. So that is a synchronization received and ready to data transfer. So that means after this one the connection has been established, right? So closed, listen, synchronize, send, synchronize, received. So what we said in the first thing, first phase is the connection establishment. In that first both the devices should be ready, and second the sequence number, both sequence numbers should be synchronized. So here synchronized sent means the sequence number will be sent to the server and server will be responding with the acknowledgement to that particular sequence number to the client. So here up to here the connection establishment is completed. Next, established state. What is this established state? So this is actual data transfer. Data transfer. How the data must be transferred? So it should be reliable. We have studied about this one. Reliable. Reliable means the data should be received without any loss or error. Okay. If there is a lost, if packet lost, what happens? A retransmission will be done. Retransmission will be done if it is lost. If unordered, unordered, next, with the help of sequence number, with the help of sequence number, it will be ordered, ordered, right? So like this, the data transfer will be done in this established state, established state. Okay, so the first four are connection establishment, and the next one is a data transfer. Now, once the data transfer has been completed, once the data transfer has been completed, what should be done? So that is nothing but connection release. So the next one is fin underscore wait 1. So what does this mean? When the client, I mean whenever the client wants to stop communicating, immediately the client will send the finish message to the server. So client sends finish message to the server, and it will be in the waiting state. The client immediately goes to the waiting state. Fin wait 1. The next one is fin wait 2. So here the server will send an acknowledgement. Okay, sorry. Client receives acknowledgement from the server and waits and waiting for fin message from server. What we have said. So immediately whenever the client's first message is the client sending the finish message, and for that the server will respond with the acknowledgement, and immediately the server will again send the finish message from server side. So that's what happening here. So first client sends the finish message to the server, and it moves to the finish wait 1 state, and immediately client receives the acknowledgement from the server, and again the client will wait for the finish message from the server. That is a finish wait 2. Next, close wait. Close wait. So server receives fin message from client from client and send acknowledgement to client, and immediately that moves to the close wait. Next, last acknowledgement. So here the server will be waiting for acknowledgement from client. So immediately whenever the server sends a finish message to the client should also send the acknowledgement. Okay, so whenever the server will be waiting for acknowledgement from the client, that comes with the last acknowledgement. And the next one, the last one, is a time wait. So once the server sends, when once the client sends the acknowledgement to the server, okay, immediately sometime the client will be waiting for receiving any delay packets. So waits for delayed packets. For example, see, if server, whenever the server, I'll draw the diagram so that you can understand. See, first client will be sending the fin message, and the server will be sending the acknowledgement message, and again server will be sending the finish message, and now the client should acknowledge that, and it will be waiting. Okay, it will be waiting, because if this particular acknowledgement is lost during the transmission, okay, hope you understood. So actually this is the happen in the connection release. The first one is fin, next acknowledgement from the server, finish message from the server, and for that finish message client should give the acknowledgement. So whenever the client gives an acknowledgement to the server, if this acknowledgement lost during the transmission, packet loss, what we have said, if there is any packet loss, the retransmission should be done. So the client should be ready to retransmit this acknowledgement to the server. So for example, if it is lost, so still it have to wait some time. The client should wait for some time to release all the resources and connection release, because If there is any lost during the transmission, it must be ready to retransmit the acknowledgement to the server. Okay, so for that the time wait is there. Okay, immediately the connection will not be released. Immediately the connection will not be released. Some time it will be taking and to receive the delayed packets, and then the connection will be released, and all the resources which are allocated to that will be deallocated. So the TCP will be moving towards all these states during the connection management. So what I said, the connection management means three phases: connection establishment, data transfer, as well as a connection release, right? So this is called as a connection management, TCP connection management. So hope you understood this simple concept, and I'll stop here, and if you are having any doubts regarding this one, feel free to post your doubts in the comment section. Definitely I will try to clarify all your doubts. And if you really enjoyed the session, like my session, share my session with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching. Thank you very much.